Recording is in progress. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the weekly, bi-weekly, or at least twice a week, Discrimination Financial Assistance Program overview. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Andrew Williams, Jr. I'm going to share my screen now, so we'll be able to walk through this presentation.
Just so you know, we're not hearing anything on our end or seeing.
Yes, I haven't begun broadcasting yet. Just a moment, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Gloria.
Recording is in progress. This is Andrew Williams, Jr. Thank you so much for joining us today. This presentation is being brought to you by Global Green Development Group to onboard applicants to the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program, Section 22007 of the Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, provides financial assistance for farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners who experienced discrimination by the U.S. Department of Agriculture in USDA's farm lending prior to 2021, prior to January 1st of 2021. Applying for this program is free, and free help with the application is available. The application includes step-by-step directions and a list of documents that are either required or recommended at each step. Payments for approved applications will be delivered early in 2024 by check through the U.S. mail. Global Green Development Group is providing free technical assistance to any qualified applicant. And my company, AndrewNetworks.com, is hosting free online webinars every Wednesday and Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time through the end of the year. You can register by going to https://bit.ly/G, capital D, capital G, capital N, capital O, capital W, hyphen, capital R, small e, small r, small g, small I, small s, small t, small e, small r, hyphen, capital D, capital F, capital A, capital P. We are also streamlining each session through the Facebook group AHIABGA-TV Network, rebroadcast on YouTube, AHIABGA-TV Network, and on demand through www.AHIABGA.NWN.TV on the New World Network. Before I introduce today's presentation, let me tell you a bit about Global Green Development Group, and you may go there to their website at GGDG-USDA.com. Global Green Development Group is a consortium of like-minded operating companies with their dedicated senior executives representing a variety of disciplines and industrial and developmental knowledge formed to provide services to emerging economies. Key focus areas are agriculture, infrastructure, development, including housing, hospitality, new city development, and energy for oil and gas and power generation. The team has over 30 years experience as a certified government prime contractor. GGD now delivers technical assistance services to a wide range of businesses, from the smallest to the largest, so you can count on them to support your efforts from the beginning to the end of the application process. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Courtney Flowers for today's presentation. She's not with us live, but she has provided a video that I'll be sharing with you. So hold on just a moment, please, and I'll enable me to share the sound and as well as the visuals for the video. Okay, very good.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this virtual event hosted by Global Green Development Group. Are you a minority farmer that has been discriminated against? Well, if so, you deserve compensation and we will help you get it at no charge. Do you need financial relief to pay your bills and grow your farm? Have you been denied a USDA loan? Have you experienced a farm foreclosure in the past? Do you currently have a high interest farm loan? Well, farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners who experienced discrimination by USDA in its farm loan programs prior to January 1st, 2021, and or are currently with assigned or assumed USDA farm loan debt that was the subject of USDA discrimination that occurred prior to January 1st, 2021, you are now eligible for this program. Get your refund now. Section 22007 of the Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, directs USDA to provide this assistance for free. There is no cost to the farmers, and free technical assistance is provided to help you process your application and get your refund. The application deadline is December 31st, 2023. You're able to attend free workshops in your area. So if you want to learn more, go ahead and give us a call. We are providing free local events to help all minority farmers who have been discriminated against by the USDA. We will be setting up these free local and virtual workshops to help assist with gaining knowledge of the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program, as well as help with filling out the applications for the program. The point of this program is to give back to all the minority farmers who were discriminated against in the form of large payments up to $500,000, which will help out greatly with rebuilding and or growing their farms. So why not take advantage before it is too late? Get what is owed to you now with no obligations. We're here to help. The process is quick, easy, and well worth it. Questions or concerns about taxes on these refunds? No problem. We will also be there to assist anyone who has questions or concerns, as well as connect them to our tax accountant if you have any questions. There really is no reason not to apply. Let's get it done today. A frequently asked question by potential applicants is, if I prevailed in a prior discrimination case against USDA, am I still eligible for the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program? The answer is yes. There have been several prior cases and matters addressing discrimination in USDA farm loan programs. Whether you have obtained money or loan forgiveness or are even in claim processing, you are eligible. So sign up today. We have plenty of workshops to come, so stay tuned and spread the word. We are covering all of California. Contact us now. Following this, we will have a question and answer segment. I just want to go ahead and thank everybody for tuning in today. Stay tuned for question and answer.
Just for this session. Oh, just a moment, going to
please.
now stop this live streaming. And I know. There we go. John, thank you so very much for attending. I do certainly appreciate this. A couple of points of clarification, however. This program is actually extended through January 13th of 2024, although the actual video indicated that it was ending on December 31st. This is actually the third extension of this program, and there have been an unfortunate small number of applicants, and the idea is that we're going to expand our reach. Initially, we were contracted to just provide the service primarily to those farmers and ranchers in California, but now we're expanded so we can deliver these free technical assistance to anyone in the United States or its territories. The information is available in English and Spanish. But John, I particularly want to reach out to you in our effort to make sure that those Native American Indians who are who are farmers or ranchers and may have been discriminated against get this opportunity to take advantage of this immediately, because time is actually winding up relatively quickly. Before I move on, though, please introduce yourself, John, and for our other guests here, perhaps you could take a moment to introduce yourself and let us know if you have any experience in the farming area, or just tell us what your area of expertise, John. You're first up, so take the floor, please.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here. Thank you, Creative, for everybody that's pulling together to help correct so many wrongs. So my name is John Moss. I'm the grandson of Michael Martin, Chief Silver Moon, White Moon of the Caddo Indian Nation in Oklahoma, Bangor. And I founded a nonprofit called Cash Community Development. And that stands for Caddo Asset Services Help Community Development. So our goal is working with financial literacy, housing, economic development, cultural preservation, and of course, agriculture, which includes farming, ranching, all of that. So I've been honored to speak in Alaska regarding the same issue in seminars, as well as with Rudy Adelano from the Hispanic Farmers Association. And they changed the name recently. I can't think of it right now. But speaking there and the 3-day events. Also, all this touches on global greening effects and warming effects. And yes, Native America is still very active in farming, ranching, agriculture. This includes sea and fisheries. And in that, yes, our lands and not qualifying for whatever discrimination, I'll be nice, discrimination is taking place, definitely is taking part. So we're very active in bison. If you go to your local grocery stores, you'll see there's a lot of bison available. They wiped out the buffalo, so all that's left are bison. It's a very healthy meal, as well, however you make it. And along with that is Native America has always used every aspect of the animal. That's changed a little bit due to regulations, etc. But so, and along with that, there's all types of animals, goats, goat farming, etc., lambs, etc. So, and of course, a lot to do with horses and etc. And on the vegetable growth side, yes, there's a lot of discrimination. And what we find is hard to still believe is the only sovereign nations in the United States that are considered third world are Native American prisoner of war camps, which is the original term. Now today they call them reservations. So on those lands, we have the highest poverty rate, the worst, and Native Americans per capita. And Native America has also the worst health issues per capita of any race in the U.S. And it is related to not having the proper food and nutrition. And the government subsidies in the past and still are typically processed fatty foods. And if you see a lot of our Native American culture and African American culture, people are out of shape. And part of that is because of the cost of foods and not the availability of fresh foods and vegetables. They eat what they can get, and that sadly is not typically the healthiest. So we have to end this, and I encourage everybody to view and be involved with the videos and activities and share them. And I'll be doing the same still. And Andrew, I want to thank you and your team and everybody that's working with this. It is an extreme issue. And I will say there's an event going on right now in Washington, D.C. for the tribes on Native American issues and heritage. And a lot of these issues are being spoken about. I was supposed to attend, but being things as they are, wasn't able to. But I still am actively in correspondence through letters and others that are there. So this is a current issue. It is not something just that's been in the past, but is currently right now. And again, every tribe that I'm aware of has, and there's 576 federally recognized tribes, and there's a lot of state recognized tribes working on their federal, and that number is, over 500 as well. I mean, it's like almost 1,000, I believe. So, but they work to have food programs and being able to help in all these areas, but more support is needed. And even if you Google Diane Sawyer and see some of the stories that Dateline and so forth have done, and right now currently ABC on Native American lands, their lack of water and food and resources is third world, and shame on America. So let's fix it. Thank you.
Oh, yes, John, thank you so much. As you know, right now, excuse me, in the United Arab Emirates, there is being held COP28, which is the global climate meeting. I do want to bring something to your attention, though, John. There was just today an article published dealing with the rights of vast tracts of African forests are being sold off in a series of huge carbon offsetting deals that cover an area of land that is larger than the United Kingdom. The deals are being made by a little-known member of Dubai's ruling royal family, encompasses up to 20% of the countries concerned, and have raised concerns about a new scramble for Africa and the continent's carbon resources. Such deals can deny the rights of people living on the land to make use of it for their own purposes while providing unclear benefits to the environment. As chairman of the company Blue Carbon, which is barely a year old, Sheikh Ahmad Dalmouk Al Maktoum has announced several exploratory deals with African states that are home to crucial wildlife havens and biodiversity hotspots for land that represents billions of dollars in potential offsetting revenue. The Sheikh has no previous experience in nature conservation projects. I bring this to your attention, John, because it is in fact the native lands in America that are also in the hairs and targets of these major polluters who are seeking to develop and control land for their own purposes that would make less and less available to that of Native Americans. We are also past the halfway point in achieving what's called the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, John, this is actually the second iteration of a project that began in 2000 called the Millennium Development Goals. It also has been very much impacted by the 2015 Paris climate talks, which the United States during President Trump's administration pulled out, but now we've come back in. But it was just recently determined that only 15% of the target goals are being achieved by the entire world. Here in the United States, the Sustainable Development Network in 2020, during Juneteenth, published a report authored by, among others, Howard University, that indicated here in the United States, none of the 50 states are even halfway towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. But as you've pointed out, John, it is actually the Native American Indians, African Americans, and Latinos that are left furthest behind. So part of the effort today is to address those issues in a real-time fashion. And I'd like to ask if our other guests, Dr. Gloria Crossan was here first, and then Brandy Moore and Jay Shai. If you'd like, this is the time to take this opportunity to briefly introduce yourself to our audience. We are not just recording here, but we are streaming live. The intent is to make documentary content so that you can share this with a wider audience than we have here. So Dr. Crossan, if you'd like, please unmute.
So thank you for this platform. I received the invitation. So I'm not familiar with the whole USDA process, but it sounds like you guys are representatives of the USDA. Can you help me understand that?
After this question and answer period, I'll actually walk through the entire program. My company, Andrew Networks, is a subcontractor. Global Green Development Corporation has 35 years as a general contractor and expertise in providing technical support. So we've been contracted to make these services free to the public. But thanks for your question. After the Q&A project, I'll walk through the entire program. Thank you.
So my degree is, my PhD is in health administration. And so I'm always curious about the organizational chart, the organizational strategy, like why is it free? Because I never heard of free. Because I'm at that age where I'm right in the middle, I'm a boomer, so and the older generation that's older than me, they'll also pay free. But I'm in the middle where I'm at anything is free. I never heard of it. So,
Dr. Crossan, you're breaking up quite a bit.
Yes, you're breaking up. I believe I got
I know. I'm traveling.
No worries. Well, thank you for
I'm traveling.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, when free does mean free in this particular case. Go ahead.
Yes, well, I suspected you would say that, but I still am suspicious. Now, so I do know that me being a Black farmer, through by default being of inheritance of smart forefathers who didn't get their land stolen or get them shipped out of it. So I have inherited quite a bit of farmland. So no one can take it because when you do it the right way, they can't steal it. Unfortunately, most people got theirs stolen.
Well, this is not the platform for that conversation. we're speaking specifically about anyone that has experienced discrimination before January 1st of 2021 is eligible for amounts ranging from $50,000 to $500,000. That does include land inherited or land that has been lost that can be proven. But as I said, after this Q&A, I'll walk through the entire program for you. Thank you.
So what I was getting to, there were no rules, no house rules about what this platform is for. And I didn't realize it was a one-way conversation. So I do apologize. And to get to my comment for my brief introduction that I was asked to give, sir, my mom did receive a check from the USDA for being discriminated against. So in that essence, I was going to ask, do you guys have access to certain records? Is my question. I yield my mic. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And no, we do not. After the Q&A session, I'll walk through exactly what we do provide. It'll be up to each individual to provide the documentation, but I did learn just yesterday that in the case where documentation may not be available, it is possible to include declarations and affidavits by those people that have firsthand knowledge of those actions and activities. But thank you for your question, and I'll be happy to answer any more after the presentation if you have some. Thank you very much. Brandy Moore, Jay Scheidt, now's the time to introduce yourself if you like before I move to the fuller presentation.
Good afternoon to all of you. Hi, my name is Brandy Moore, and I am a presidential candidate for the 2024 election. I am from Mobile County, Alabama. I'm also a scholar, and I am very, very delighted to be here, and thank you for allowing me to speak during this time.
Well, you're very welcome, and hopefully you can find information here that will assist your candidacy, because this does impact many of the people that are in your jurisdiction, in your precinct, and for the entire nation. Thank you very much, Ms. Moore. So, Jay, now's the time to make any introduction if you so choose. If not, I'll move to the second part of the presentation.
Hey, everybody. Andrew, John, thank you for hosting this. I'm actually I joined this call to learn a little bit more about this application process. I was talking to my uncle, who's a farmer in California. I caught up with him over Thanksgiving. And, just from our conversations, I learned that maybe this might be something that he might be qualified for. I just learned about this like over the news over the last couple of years. But then when I talked to him, that was the first time I seen him in a couple of years, right? I realized it might impact him. So, one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, how long does this application process take? I know that the deadline is coming. It's like in 5 or 6 weeks. From your guys' experience, how long does it usually take for people to finish this process?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And I just had an experience yesterday in walking through the entire application process. It's a 40-page application, but many of the pages are redundant and may not apply to you. In the particular case we went through yesterday, it took about 2 hours to walk through the entire process from beginning to end. However, that was just completing the application itself. As I was mentioning earlier, it's up to each individual, however, to make sure that they have the supporting documentation in hand. And we're urging and warning you not to ever submit original documents, because after a certain period of time, these will be destroyed. But the shorter answer is that there is an urgency to get these applications submitted. Everything will be processed during the first few months of 2024, and checks will be issued, as I understand it, no later than July 1st of 2024. But again, the important thing is to submit the application as soon as possible. That can be done in several ways. And as I walk through it, you'll be able to see the options. But I did put into the contact in the chat GGDGnow.com. That's Global Green Development Group. So their contract to provide free technical assistance to anyone that's qualified for this program. Keep in mind, this is before January 1st of 2021. So that means it could go back as far as 1900 or even further if the land has been inherited or lost. So there are, of course, many instances where people have lost their lands and are maybe homeless, maybe no longer on the farm, but this does apply to anyone that experienced any of these conditions before January 1st of 2021. The presentation I'm about to make to you is about 30 minutes long. It walks through the entire process, but you can, all of you, go directly to the website that the government provides. I'll share my screen once again. That's at 2207apply.gov, and you can access the application e-file and find out any resources near you. But as I said, I'll walk through the entire process now. Unless there are any further questions, I'll begin the presentation.
Thank you, Andrew, John. I guess one last quick question. When I was doing some Googling about this, I saw that some law firms, right, they had some advertisements on their websites for, assistance for the application and helping you find documentation for the application. I think my biggest concern would be finding all the correct documentation, which might take a lot of digging to do. Like, I guess, what is your recommendation on how to decide whether someone should go hire an attorney to help out with this versus get technical assistance elsewhere, like from John's company or from someone else?
Well, Brandy, I'll get to your hand raised just a moment, but let me be very clear that supposedly all of the assistance that you need can be provided free of charge by either the United States Department of Agriculture or agencies it's contracted with to provide this assistance, or organizations like ours. However, that does not remove the responsibility for each applicant to be responsible for making sure they have the correct documentation. However, the seminar workshop that I attended yesterday, hosted also by Global Green Development Group, actually walked through every step of the application process, identified every type of document that was needed. However, Jay, it would not be within our purview to do anything more than provide you assistance in assembling that material and submitting it to the government. So unless you are able to, do that on your own, then it will be your responsibility to do whatever it takes to get the required documentation.
That's super helpful. Thank you, Andrew.
Ms. Moore, the floor is yours.
Thank you. What is your contact information so that if I may have to leave for another meeting, if I have any questions, I can contact you?
It's in the chat. You can reach me at andrew@andrewnetworks.com. andrew@andrewnetworks.com. But the organization hosting this event is the Global Green Development Group, and that you can reach them at GGDGNOW.com. That's GGDGNOW.com, info@GGDGNOW.com.
Hi, sir. Would you please post that in the chat, and that way I can go ahead and screenshot it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is in the chat.
I don't see it.
Oh,
I don't see it.
perhaps you came in later, so let me repost that. I apologize. I'll repost it right now.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Any further questions?
No, sir. I look forward to your presentation.
All right, thank you so much. I'll also recopy my direct contact information as well. And congratulations on your run for the presidency. It's critically necessary that we realize that December 10th is the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but human right number 29 means responsibility. So I do certainly thank and appreciate your work and effort for taking responsibility for impacting these life that we're living and the life for our future and the life for our children. So I want to thank you so very much for all that work and dedication on your part.
Thank you. I'm
Yes,
very
she does.
excited.
She does a whole lot more than that. She's a scientist. I realize this isn't the platform for that, but Mr. John P. Moss went on for 20 minutes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. So as I was about,
It was 21 minutes.
and 14 seconds.
Yes.
But
And Brandy, you're running for the U.S. presidency. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Well, we need someone that's a Dallas fan in there, so that's good.
Well, I was told by one of the fellow scientists that I was a superstar when he met me. So I'm just carrying out my destiny.
Well, make sure you put your contact information in the chat as well, so we'll be able to follow up and support your efforts.
Yes, sir, I will.
Thank you so much. All right, so let me get to the right screen here. Yes, I do have it. Let me put myself on mute here. Yes, it looks as though we are streaming again, so give me just a moment. Do a little bit.
Andrew, I may have to go part way in, so, but I'll follow up on the video, etc. Thank you.
So, Tamika, this is in fact, let's see if I can juggle this around here just a moment. I'm multitasking here, so bear with me just a moment. Oh, good. Okay, so now I can see that I am sharing my screen. What we have on the screen is a description of the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program. This was, let me go down a little bit here. This is specifically for those that may have experienced discrimination in the United States Department of Agriculture Farm Lending Program. Section 22007 of the Inflation Reduction Act authorized $2.2 billion in financial assistance to farmers and ranchers who experienced discrimination in USDA farm loans prior to January 1st of 2021. Even though we have been promoting this to be ending at the end of this year, there has been an extension to January 13th of 2024. The application is free and free technical assistance is available, either directly through the USDA or through its service providers. The steps to apply are very simple. You can apply online, and after I complete reading the information here, I'll actually click through so you can get more information. But you can register online and also find resources near where you are. USDA DFAP, Discrimination and Financial Assistance Program. Local offices are a network of brick and mortar locations where you can connect with in-person agents for help with applications and where you can drop off a complete application. Office hours and locations can be found at the link, which I'll be clicking when I get through reading this information to you. You can also get assistance through a call center. Telephone assistance is available. Live agents are available and eager to answer questions about applications at 1-800-721-0970 from 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 8 p.m. 7 days a week, except for federal holidays. There are partner organizations. USDA has ensured that groups with extensive experience conducting outreach to farm organizations are able to support individuals who may be eligible for the program. These groups include AgriAbility, the Farmer Veteran Coalition, Farmers Legal Action Group, Federation of Southern Cooperatives, Intertribal Agricultural Council, Land Loss Prevention Program, the National Young Farmers Coalition, and Rural Coalition. Applicants may also reach out to these groups for further information and assistance. As I said, Global Green Development Corporation, Global Green Development Group has over 30 years experience in providing technical assistance to individuals and larger companies. Now I'll click on this link so that we can actually go to the website. Oops. Allow. And we can only move as fast as the computer does. Let me try the other link at the bottom here. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll copy it and paste it. Stop share. Again, thank you for your patience. I'll actually copy this into the chat so you can see it, or you can click on the link yourself. It's the
Thank you.
that's http://2207 apply.gov. So I'm putting that information in the chat for you, Tamika. And I'm going to now go to my screen and click it to see if I can access it online. Yes, I can. So I'm going to start sharing again. Tamika, can you see the screen okay? Or Anthony or Kenneth, can you see the screen?
I can see the screen.
Okay, I think I heard you. So this is the website link. It's a discrimination financial assistance program. And it says what I just got through saying here. Of course, it's asking you to also beware of scams. But yes, you can determine whether you're eligible or not at this website link. You can access the application itself. You can learn about the regional and national review program, and also the disbursement schedule. So again, I'm going to simply click on these links. Eligibility. And at the top, you'll notice that the application deadline has been extended to January 13th of 2024. Eligibility requirements. Let's see if I can make this larger. Okay, the eligibility to qualify for financial assistance is available for individuals who either experienced discrimination prior to January 1st, 2021 by the United States Department of Agriculture in its farm lending programs, which are currently administered by the Farm Service Agency, FSA, or are currently debtors with assigned or assumed USDA farm lending debt that was the subject of USDA discrimination that occurred prior to January 1st of 2021. This applies, for example, if you inherited the debt that was subject of USDA farm lending discrimination by the USDA. Lending covered by the program discrimination experienced in all USDA lending programs qualify for the ability to apply for financial assistance through this program. Eligible farm lending programs include farm ownership loans, farm operating loans, microloans, youth loans, farm storage facility loans, emergency loans, economic emergency loans, emergency livestock loans, soil and water loans, conservation loans, softwood timber loans, and grazing loans. Note, the program covers both USDA direct and guaranteed lending through USDA's Farm Service Agency or its predecessor, the Farmers Home Administration. But for applicants who participated in guaranteed loan programs, discrimination by the non-USDA lender does not qualify for this program. Only discrimination by USDA personnel in USDA lending is covered. To be eligible to participate in the program, you must be or have been a farmer or a would-be farmer, be or have been a participant or would-be participant in farm lending, have experienced discrimination by USDA in USDA farm lending, or be a debtor with assigned or assumed USDA farm lending debt that was the subject of USDA discrimination. Be able to verify your identity and provide information to substantiate the discrimination experienced. Note, individuals who have personally prevailed and obtained money or loan forgiveness in a prior case addressing discrimination in USDA farm lending programs are eligible to participate in this program. This program covers discrimination based on different treatment you experienced because of race, color, or national origin, or ethnicity, including status as a member of an Indian tribe, sex, sexual orientation or gender identity, religion, age, marital status, disability, reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activities. If discrimination was the cause, the following are examples of how that discrimination may have been experienced. Please note that this list does not indicate all potential covered discrimination, nor does it limit a potential applicant's ability to apply. This includes failure to provide appropriate assistance, a delay in processing loan or loan servicing application, denial of a loan or loan servicing, prevention from applying for a loan or loan servicing, adverse loan terms, unduly onerous supervision of loan requirements. The following are examples of losses the application asks about, because they may have occurred because of discrimination by USDA in USDA farm lending programs. Please note that this list is not comprehensive, nor does it limit a potential applicant's ability to apply. These would include loss of agricultural land, loss of home if used by collateral for a loan, loss of money resulting from offsets, garnishments, or deficiency judgments imposed on an individual because of defaulting on a USDA farm loan, or USDA foreclosing on a USDA farm loan, other economic loss because of discrimination by USDA in USDA lending programs. This application includes step-by-step directions and a list of documents that are either required or recommended at each step. Providing documentation or evidence of discrimination will help submitted applications throughout the process. Warning, warning, warning. Do not include original supporting documents with your submission. Your documents will not be returned to you and may be destroyed after the program concludes in accordance with record management requirements. Please make and keep all original copies of all supporting documents that accompany your application. The information I just provided to you is available at 22007 apply.gov. You can find the eligibility requirements there. I'm going to return to 2207 apply.gov. This is the original site. Also, for those that are with us in the Zoom, you can find that information in the chat. You can also please share this information. You notice that the deadline is January 1st of 2021. Before that time, the discrimination must have occurred. It's unfortunate but true that discrimination has been occurring for decades in the USDA farm lending program for African Americans and minorities. So it may be the case that you know of someone or have someone in your family who is a victim of discrimination that may have occurred before the property was lost. In many cases, farms were lost and the homeowners or the owners displaced. So it's very difficult to reach or find people that are qualified to receive these funds. So please spread this information as far and wide as you are able to do so. The review process will begin after applications are received. There is a timeline and program deadline link here that will actually provide you the information. You can submit an application through January 13th of 2024. If your application is late, it will not be reviewed and you will not receive financial assistance. There will be no extensions. If your application is incomplete, it will be evaluated on the basis of the information that is included. To be counted as timely, applications submitted by U.S. or overnight mail must be postmarked no later than January 13th of 2024. Applications submitted in person at a local office must be delivered by 8 p.m. local time on January 13th, 2024. Applications submitted online must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on January 13th of 2024. The information submitted through the application form is the only application requirement for this program. There will not be any hearings, appeals, or other processes to apply to this program. You are encouraged to apply in advance of the deadline to allow time to resolve any questions on the application. Your application will be processed in the region that covers the farm or ranch listed in the application. So even though you may be in a state other than the one that the farm or property was owned or lost, your application will be processed in the region that covers the farm or ranch listed in the application. The review process will begin after receiving applications and will continue for several months. You will be notified of the status of your application once determinations are made. You may also check the status of your applications at forms.2207 apply.gov. Note, you will need your confirmation ID to retrieve your application status. Payment disbursements. Payments for approved applications will be delivered early next calendar year by check through the U.S. mail. There are several ways to apply. You can apply online. When you click the link, you'll be taken to an online e-filing system. And you would click the link at the top to begin the application process. You are strongly encouraged to submit your application online via the e-filing system. Applications may be submitted online through the e-filing application form available at forms.2207 apply.gov. Please do not email your application or supporting documentation for this program. We will not be able to consider applications and or supporting documents sent via email. Benefits of submitting your application via the e-filing form include instant access to your application status. You can log into your account to see the status of your application as it progresses through the review phase. Instant access to correspondence sent by the program staff. This includes information on the completeness of your application and requests for additional information to avoid any processing delays. You may upload your supporting documents directly to the program website. This will allow you to upload relevant documents directly to the program website. Get instant information on the completeness of your application. This will identify and whether you have skipped any part of it, so you will be more likely to avoid an incomplete application. Only answer the questions relevant to you. You may not be required to fill in all sections of the application. The application will only present the questions relevant to you based on how you answer qualifying questions. You may also mail a paper copy. There are two methods to obtain a paper copy of the application. You can download a copy of the application, and I must tell you, I suggest that you do download a copy of the application and then complete the application so that when you go online to file it, you will have information in front of you that will match the information that you register online. If you need the application in a language other than English or Spanish, you may call the DFAP call center you may contact the DFAP call center at info@2207apply.gov or phone at 1-800-721-0970. Number two, you may email the National Administrator at info@22007apply.gov or call the DFAP call center at 1-800-721-0970 and request that an application be mailed to you. Again, please do not email your application or supporting documentation for this program. We are not able to consider applications and or supporting documents sent via email. The submission instructions. 1, type or print your answers using black or blue ink. Your application must be readable by our representatives. If we are unable to read your application, this may result in its denial or a request to provide an updated application. Use either of the following to make your selection when answering a question that has a box or circle, check or X. A signature is required. Include a signed signature page, step 10, of the application with your completed application form. Be sure all documents you submit, including your application and all the supporting documents, have your Social Security number or individual taxpayer identification number printed at the top of the first page of each document. If you submit a statement under penalty of perjury, template by another person in support of your application, you should use the form available at Resources and Documents or a document substantially like it. I'll come back and click on that link to deep dive further into that. Number 6, please make and keep your own copies of all supporting documents that accompany your application. Do not include original supporting documents with your submission. They will not be returned to you and may be destroyed after the program concludes, in accordance with records management requirements. To submit your paper application, you can send the form itself, appendices, and copies of your supporting documents in one of the following ways. Mail, first class, or overnight to the appropriate regional hub. Choose based on the location of the farm that is the subject of the application. You can see the list of states, commonwealths, and territories below. Or drop off at the appropriate regional hub. Walk-in locations are available below. Applications and/or supporting documentation will not be accepted via email, thumb drive, or facsimile. And finally, your application will be processed by the main regional office nearest the farm or ranch listed in the application. This page provides the regional assignments by state and territory. Each region has at least one physical location. You may call or visit these locations to get help completing the application. There are 4 regions. I will not read each of these states, but region 1, you have region 1, region 2, or for region 1, I'll put it this way. Region 1, you must visit or send your information to Windsor Group LLC, CODFAP Region 1. That address is 606710A, Rockledge, ROCKLEDGE Drive, Suite 400 in Bethesda, Maryland, 20817. You may reach them at 800-721-0972. For Region 2, you may use the 2207 Application Processing Center, attention Windsor Group LLC, care of DFAP Region 2. That address is Gainesville Technical Entrepreneurship Center, GTEC, located at 2153 Southeast Hawthorne Road, Suite 217, Gainesville, Florida, 32641. That number too is 1-800-721-0970. Region 3, 2207 Application Processing Center, care of Mon Abri, MONABRI Business Center, located at 2524 North Broadway, Suite 338 in North Edmond, Oklahoma, 73034. The phone number again is 800-721-0970. And finally, Region 4, 2207 Application Processing Center, care of Mon Abri, that's capital MON, capital ABRI, Business Center at 2524 North Broadway, Suite 338 in North Edmond, Oklahoma, 73034. The phone number again is 800-721-0970. Submit your application in person at a local office. You may also drop off a completed application and supporting documentation at any of the program's dedicated local offices. Note, this program is being administered by non-governmental entities. Therefore, their offices are not FSA county or state offices. Alternatively, if you need assistance in preparing your application and feel more comfortable talking to someone in person, you may visit the program's dedicated local offices. You can fill out the online application on a computer in the office or have an agent provide assistance in putting the application online by answering questions to the application in person. In-person regional locations can be found by clicking this link. Timeline and program deadlines. You can submit an application through January 13th, 2024. If your application is late, it will not be reviewed and you will not receive financial assistance. There will be no extensions. If your application is incomplete, it will be evaluated on the basis of the information that is included. To be counted as timely, the application submitted by US or overnight mail must be postmarked no later than January 13th of 2024. Applications submitted in person at a local office must be delivered by 8 p.m. local time on January 13th, 2024. Applications submitted online must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on January 13th, 2024. The information submitted through the application form is the only application requirement for this program. There will not be any hearings, appeals, or other processes to apply to this program. You are encouraged to apply in advance of the deadline to allow time to resolve any questions on the applications. I know this is repetitive, but I'm going to repeat it at the end of this presentation. Your application will be processed in the region that covers the farm or ranch listed in the application. The review process will begin after receiving applications and will continue for several months. You will be notified of the status of your application once determinations are made. You may also check the status of your application at forms.2207 apply.gov. Note, you will need your confirmation ID to retrieve your application status. And finally, payment disbursements. Payments for approved applications will be delivered early next calendar year by check through the U.S. mail. Thank you for your patience in allowing me to review that information with you. I'm now opening up the floor for any comments or questions, or if you're having difficulties with the audio, please feel free to put your question or comment in the chat.
So if someone the application and their viewer added documentation, they'll do they just get the documentation now, through the USDA? Because most of the time I have found that when the government asks for additional documentation, it's documentation they should.
Dr. Carlson, I did not understand your question. Perhaps you can type it into the chat. I did not clearly understand your question. Well, Ms. Moore, I see your hand is raised. Perhaps you have a question.
I asked my question. Did you want me to restate it? My phone cut out.
Oh, yes, I did not hear. Please restate the question. Thank you.
So a lot of time, okay, so my question is, will the USDA or whoever the reviewer is, if they request additional documentation that they already have or should have access to, can they their own additional documentation and researches themselves
No,
if they don't have the documents that they need?
no. Did you hear my answer?
Yes,
No, is the answer.
yes, yes.
Ms. Moore, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the presentation. I was able to share it with people of mine in my contact, so I allow them to hear it. The last slide that you were speaking about when the funds would be available, you said early of next year, 2024.
I'll share my screen again. What they're saying, again, it depends on when you submit your application. Of course, if you wait to the last minute, then that will delay the time because, again, as often happens, as the deadline approaches, those that may have not submitted their complete application before or are incomplete flooded at the last moment. So they're suggesting that the checks will be sent out during the early part of next year. I'm suggesting that likely that will occur no later than the middle point of next year. Well, thank you for your attendance. If there's any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. We'll also be able to have a replay, or at least every Saturday morning through the end of the year, and every Wednesday morning through the end of the year. We'll continue to have these presentations. So you're welcome to come back or ask any questions. I did put my contact information in the chat, and I'll be happy to also send out to each of you whose email I have a transcript of this as well, so you can actually read it as well as hear it. And that transcript will also have a link to the replay for any additional information.
So will it be an edited version, sir?
I'm not editing it for you. I'll provide it to you as is. You'll be happy to edit it yourself if you choose.
I was able to put my email in the chat. I hope you received it.
And where are you located, sir?
I'm physically in Los Angeles, California.
And this program it is in LA as well, and you've had good success in LA with people having the documentation. I didn't know they have farmers in LA.
Los Angeles, California, or California. Well, the short answer is there's a very small number of farmers in Los Angeles itself. But just last week, Global Green Development Group, which is the experienced contractor that has provided this service for the last 30 years, actually made a field trip throughout California. And so they were able to walk through yesterday at least 2 of the applicants for this particular application. But again, my own responsibility, my company, my task is to provide these webinars online, to provide the assistance to as wide an audience as possible.
And so you have that 40-page application. You have copies of it, sir?
As a matter of fact, at the website, I'll type it into the link again. You can download it and access it, but I will send out the application to you, or if you like, I will actually go through it right now.
Oh, I was just asking you if you have it in print, and I hear you saying it's online. It's kind of difficult to see online.
What I mean is that it's available for you to download it from the online source to your computer.
I have no further questions. You have been such a gentleman. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending. Again, if I have your email address, I'll send out a link to this, but this is also being live streamed on Facebook. And the Facebook group AHIABGA-TV network, AHIABGA-TV network. And it's also being streamed on my own personal page. I'm facebook.com/Andrew Williams Jr. And I'm findable on LinkedIn. I'm findable everywhere. So andrewnetworks.com is my website. You can also put your email information in there if you like additional information to follow up about this and other activities. I'm also hosting on December 8th through the 10th a series of workshops on human rights. So you're all invited to attend. If you'd like to also make a 15 to 30-minute presentation, then please submit to me your photo and your title, etc., and we'll be happy to make that available to you.
Yeah, we would like that. Yeah, we would like that. Can I ask you questions about that at this time?
I'm at your convenience.
Okay, so when you talk about the Human Rights Symposium, who's the audience for that?
Well, let me share with my screen again with you. Well, in this particular case, it's being this is a fourth workshop. It's been hosted by the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity in Lagos, Nigeria. There were about 33 participants from 12 different countries for the last 3 workshops we did, but it is streamed online. It is worldwide. I also uploaded to my YouTube channel. But again, the short answer is the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. It's based in Lagos, Nigeria, but I'm the chairperson of the International Advisory Board. So I've been taking the opportunity for this last 3 weeks to address several issues. The first workshop, all these are available online too. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can access all of them. But the first series of workshop was on the Sustainable Development Goals. The second one was on the United Nations, Global Compact. The third last week was on disaster awareness, planning, preparation, and recovery through the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. I'm not conducting a workshop this week, but I am streaming content about the COP28 climate summit that's being held right now. And next week, as I said, actually later this week, it'll be the United Nations, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I'm sure we'll be covering all 30 of those. There are 30 human rights. And so we'll be covering all of those, I'm pretty sure. And I'm inviting any of our audience, such as yourselves, if you'd like to make a presentation for 15 or 30 minutes about any of them or about local activities, and in particularly your case, Ms. Moore, how that impacts the world that we live in, the floor would also be available to you as well.
Thank you. I am so delighted that you told me about this opportunity. I would definitely love to do that as a scientist, an environmentalist. I am a scientist, a true scientist. I have done many different research projects. And so I would love to get more information about the audience and to present at your symposium.
Well, you're welcome. Also, just to let you know, we do also stream this on the New World Network, that's NWN.TV. We do have a channel there. And so even though we're streaming to Facebook and social media, we do also reach that channel. It has an audience that also impacts Roku and some of the other channels, but we do have an availability for sharing this platform that I'm sharing now on behalf of the Global Green Development Group for activities such as yours that are humanitarian in purpose.
And so your name is Mr. Andrew Williams Jr.?
I'm he.
Okay, and your email is 777@gmail.com. Andrew W. Jr.
Yeah, that and also Andrew at Andrew Networks, if that's, but both come to the same place. So yes,
Okay.
Andrew, yes.
Okay, yes, I'm out of town. I'm traveling. So I will just use the email that I have to send you my information so that I can get information back from you. I'm particularly interested in the United Nations Global Impact one that's on human rights that you mentioned.
Excellent. Well, thank you so very much for taking this time. I really do appreciate it, and I honor the time that you spent. I understand it's very valuable. So thank you all very much. If there are no closing comments or questions, I'm going to end today's program.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thanks to all.
Thank
Let me-
you.
You're very welcome.